Hello everyone, Jesse Webb, TradersPro. Market conditions remaining bullish in a bull market. Very impressive move yesterday, continuing to see strength here, even without any kind of retracement or counter trend. So lots of positivity here happening in the market. We are still at the upper end of the range. We've been talking about here. We've seen a couple weeks now of consolidation inside of the zone. We've got sentiment, momentum, breadth all towards the upper end of the range of this trend, and we'll see if momentum continues to hold inside of this bullish up zone. We've seen breadth, which has moved up to the extreme, but not overly extreme. It's kind of pulled back a little bit, but still in that upper range where it can stay for a length of time, a few weeks. We'll see if which direction it goes. If we start to push to the extreme, to the upside even more so, or if we pull back into a little bit more of a trending zone. And sentiment also positive. So we definitely have very positive market internals, including the buy-sell ratio, all very bullish. The only issue is just the extent of the bullishness, and if there is enough demand to be able to push this continue to the upside. Now it truly is a momentum type of scenario, and watching to see if any resistance starts to pull back in. This is when we see the buy-sell ratio holding a certain trend for a length of time. This bearish trend that we had here lasted abnormally long. Typically, it's not quite that long, but we can see it. We can see it about this distance here. These two are a little bit shorter. And so we're right in that range where we could certainly start to see some consolidation, even a pullback, and that would probably be a little healthier for the overall market to have that, so that we could get a firm base to be able to move higher. Let's jump in and look at market ETFs. Everything, the NASDAQ had a big move yesterday, AMD talking about chips and AI, and that's still in the overall minds of investors, and we saw a big move on NASDAQ, still in this momentum zone, and getting some support inside of that range, which is what we want to see for stocks to continue to have that buy the dip scenario, and seeing volatility down here on this low end. We also saw sectors. We started to see a few little cracks in sectors. Yesterday's move moved everything back to short-term uptrends, and moved a couple of those sectors back up into that uptrend buy signal. We're just still dealing with energy, which is fine, which is actually probably good for that to be able to happen currently, as markets are looking for any reason to be bullish, and lower energy prices certainly is bullish for consumers, businesses, and the economy as a whole. If we also look at those commodities, look at gold. Gold has been the big one. Gold is the one, probably the biggest one to keep an eye on right now in terms of a commodity type play. Looking for gold stocks. We've talked about these the last few days, how to access them, what you're looking for, which kinds of stocks to be focusing on in those overall uptrends. So we're seeing a bounce off the momentum zone here, this 236 location. That also is lining up with some support that we've got here. We'll see if it holds. They've all been kind of fade days, down days, where you see their red bars right here. These are just traditional candlesticks. A red day is a down day where you have the open at the upper end of the range, and then the close is at the bottom end of the range. So you end up with a red candle versus a candle that opens here and closes at the high of the day. This is just traditional candlestick view. If we move it back over to the signals, that's just helping us see the overall trend direction. And so we know that we've got an up day. The black bars represent those down days within an overall uptrend. So we can see that we're still in that overall uptrend, and we're still in the momentum location, but we've had 4 or 5 days now of gaps higher, and then they sell back lower again. That's not particularly bullish, but holding this zone and holding inside of this range for a length of time is going to be bullish for gold at these levels. If we look at USO oil, it really got pummeled a couple of days ago, and a day of support now, again, right inside of that range. We talked about that support range holding up now because there's going to be a whole bunch of prior locations back here and here where there's just going to be a bunch of support now, all of this right here. So really watching for oil now to find some support and stability inside of this zone. It could take some time, and hopefully does. And and we'll see what ends up happening with oil. But nonetheless, it is deeply oversold right now. Could certainly see some consolidation inside of this bottom box right here. We've broken through that 618 counter trend zone, and that 786 location is probably going to start to come into play. But again, we've got lots of resistance happening right at these levels where we could see a bounce on oil. Let's look at a few muscle stocks in the list today. In fact, the top one I believe is an oil play. NGL. This is a nice looking chart pattern to keep your eye on because it's been a high flyer. It's a stock that has that capability to move aggressively, which adds volatility certainly, but you can see the amount of support that's been happening right here. You just had months of support happening and gradual uptrend, retracement with a little bit higher low. It really, and even a tighter retracement here, it just really looks like it wants to break out to that upside. And if it could break out and close up above that 4.5 range, 430, 440, there we could see some continuation on that momentum, especially if oil finds support and does maybe move back up a little bit. But it's the new buy at the top of the list today. Let's look at a couple others here. FTAI. This has also been a really strong stock in an overall very strong uptrend. On the 1 year time frame, you can see the range, the potential downside range coming all the way back down to here, and it has not had any kind of a retracement in this, at least in that 1 year time frame currently after that breakout. If we go a little bit shorter time frame, we still got some distance there. So, and it's breaking out, solid confirmation bar. Could have a breakout day today, which could ultimately move things higher for that stock. And GNE. This is a stock that really has been a good stock this last few months, particularly in this overall uptrend currently. So it's had a nice retracement. You can see the pullback. It's still connecting to this high. The pullback remaining inside of the momentum zone. Solid confirmation bar yesterday and the day before as well. And if we take a look to see if we've got any commitment to that, average volume is higher than normal. Back through at least some of these ranges, it's about equal with what we've seen in these overall uptrends. So keep an eye on GNE, as it's already a muscle stock, which has, anything that has a rank above 95 and is moving to the upside. It's been a utility play, electric, something to even do a little bit more homework on, understand the stock, understand what they do, but an interesting price pattern at these levels. That'll do it for today's update. If you don't have full access to the software, you can sign up with the link below, and we look forward to having you. Have a fantastic day today.